I think we should move on to the place where you live these days, my former home, Chicago, Illinois, where the Chicago Bears are on the beginning of a new rebuild, as they have done several times over the last decade or so.
Yeah. The news finally came out against our wishes. Ryan and Smitty and I had traded some texts in the hope that Nagi and Pace actually retained their employment, because
it was unfortunate
how much fun that would be for this podcast, and how much of a Bears move that would be, how much of a McCaskey move, how they won some big games down the stretch. So we're going to keep them with the promise of what next season could be. But no. Instead, George McCaskey, acting chairman, who said that, the board wants them to stay as acting chairman. Well, that's convenient since the board's your frickin' family, you fucking putz. But I want to dissect a little bit of this press conference that he held, which if you were optimistic as a Bears fan that Nagy and Pace were both let go, because there were people thinking, I think you and I were both we thought Pace might hang on.
Yeah, I was rooting for that. Again, we were rooting for both of them to stay on just to keep the Bears spiral going. But I thought they might just get rid of Nagy, and they've shown a way that they've loved Ryan Pace inexplicably. Maybe the worst GM I've seen.
I mean,
it's just the Mitch Trubisky situation. It cinches it.
Alone.
Trading up from number 3 to number 2 to get Mitch Trubisky.
Played by the 49ers.
Yeah, really. So I was downtrodden to learn that both Pace and Nagy had been fired, but I did hear that Ted Phillips remained team president. So
yes.
That makes me laugh and gives me hope that the Bears will remain in this downward spiral, as their leadership and process for hiring these numbskulls continues. The same people that are in charge of hiring Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy also hired Jim Tressman, or what was his name? Mark Tressman. And the previous GM. The whole process remains intact. Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. And if you were optimistic, you definitely were not optimistic any longer after you saw or heard the George McCaskey press conference. Because if you want to talk about a fucking disaster,
I didn't hear the whole thing. I've heard pieces. So
this is like you're driving down the road, you see smoke, you see flames, and you stop and look.
Gaper's block.
Yeah, it was a gaper's delay. So you already brought up problem number 1. Ted Phillips remained president. Right there should be a red flag. And he was deemed by McCaskey as overseeing this process.
He's done so well. Like, he's been there for 20 some years now, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's worked out well.
It's worked out great. Now, he followed that up with announcing that Justin Fields will be developed. He's going to be the quarterback of the future. He's going to be developed. Then he said, well, I know saying that here may inherently limit the hiring options, which he then followed up with saying, I'm just a fan. I'm not a football evaluator.
Wow.
While reiterating that after an effort to reach consensus, the decision on both open positions would ultimately be his alone. So in the matter of minutes there, he said, well, no, whoever comes in doesn't have a choice. Justin Fields is the quarterback of the future here, which honestly, I don't think that's going to be a deterrent for anyone. Justin Fields. I think
I wouldn't think so, but it's weird to put that out there.
But it's out there, right? Then he takes a step back and says, well, I'm just a fan here. I don't really know anything about evaluating talent.
I don't know what I'm doing.
But then follows that up with, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be the sole decision maker on who the GM and coach are of the team.
I do know what I'm doing, except I don't know what I'm doing.
Now, to prove that he doesn't know what he's doing, they said again they may hire they're most likely to hire the coach before the GM.
That's the best.
And I'm like, what? You're I can't even. I'm already at a loss of words. The final thing I do want to bring up on this horrific press conference, this Gapers delay, this blood on the highway of a conference was. You heard about the Olin Kreutz comments on the radio, yes. And I don't like Olin Kreutz. I think he's first class. I know why Bears fans love him because he's just fucking.
He's a meathead.
He's a meathead. Yeah, he doesn't really offer much.
I'm not sure he's a bad guy, but he's definitely a meathead on the radio.
But he's a meathead. I have no use for him. Like when I listen to him, I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But he had made a comment that the Bears had offered him $15 an hour to come in and coach the offensive line.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like to come in and clean the facilities. Like,
no.
Minimum wage these days?
No, but I believe our one of our loyal listeners, my friend Dave, he is going to offer Olin Kreutz the same to cut his lawn this summer. So we'll see if there's any success in that. But
maybe $16.
Maybe $16.
Maybe that would be enough. So what are the Bears doing? Why would they do that?
Well, this is Olin Kreutz saying this. So McCaskey it comes up during the press conference. Now, I don't know about you, Smitty, but if it came up, I would as the chairman of the board, the chairman of the board, as I would have just said, I'm not gonna get into that into that matter. It's
an easy one.
No. McCaskey decides to say, I've learned over the years to take just about anything Olin says with a grain of salt, and then proceeded to basically call out his character and all these other things. And that has just received a ton of backlash, especially on the score, because Kreutz is a regular on the score. So it's getting a lot of backlash here back in Chicago. So
unnecessary.
Bears fans, what I have to say to you is sit back, relax, and strap it down, because it's just gonna suck for you just in the immediate future again. I don't know if you had heard this, but they did interview Doug Pederson, Super Bowl champ coach, with Nick Foles, the former Philly coach, and then for GM, they interviewed Glenn Cook. He's current. I didn't know who he was. I had this is all from an article I read. VP of player personnel for the Browns. But it is said that they will be looking at 9 candidates for each position. So 1 down, 8 to go.
No less than 9.
No less than 9 shall be called. So.
Wow.
So Doug, I find Doug Pederson to be an interesting choice. He won a Super Bowl, but overall his tenure in Philly was really not a success, and it ended with a 4-11 season with a very talented football team. So I don't know, but
no, I hope that
you got to start somewhere.
No,
so.
I hope they hire a failed Browns GM and a failed Eagles coach. That would be perfect.
There you go.
Keep that downward spiral going. The more I think about it, with the Bears spinning their wheels, trying to start another rebuild, the Vikings fired their coach and GM, and so they're embarking on another rebuild. Who knows the future of Aaron Rodgers with the Packers, as he's been mercurial and bizarre through many off seasons, especially this past one. If he leaves the Packers, maybe the Lions are in the driver's seat in the NFC.
You think that the NFC North is all up to the Lions now?
We might have the most stable organization in the whole division.
Well, you'll have the second longest tenured coach, because Matt LaFleur at 3 years is the most tenured coach in the NFC North right now. So
we're only 2 years behind.
He's 39-10.
He's got Aaron Rodgers.
I know. That's just incredible, though. It's not all Aaron Rodgers. I mean, but it is a lot of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
A lot of Aaron Rodgers. So Hey, great news for this podcast. More fumbleinas and questionable moves to be done by the Bears organization, which remains the same on the very top. So
don't change, Bears. Never change.
Don't go change it.
Word Hole Media.